Alright everybody, it's webinar time. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be looking at the AuditMate, AccountsMate and the iXBRL, a new add-on that we've created. iXBRL has been quite a journey for us. We started in March and we created a new product called iXBRL Mate, which is a fully fledged iXBRL report writer where we get the information from Excel spreadsheets, Word documents or PDFs, get it into iXBRL Mate and create the required iXBRL file for the CIPC upload. Now what we've done is we've taken that technology and we've brought it into AuditMate, AccountsMate in a very streamlined way. Okay, we've tried to make the implementation of iXBRL and AuditMate as seamless and easy as possible. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. So let's get on with the program and have a look and see how it works. Obviously today we've got a number of you here who have used AuditMate before and many of you who haven't. But when you start AuditMate, you'll start with this screen, and on the right hand side you'll notice we have some training files, and there are two new training files in here. One is the iXBRL submission flowchart and the other one is the CIPC's frequently asked questions. Both these documents are really useful when it comes to deciding whether you need to do iXBRL and how to do it. So we'll have a quick look at this flowchart. It's now a world famous flowchart. It's been published in various publications and it's been on our website for some time, and hundreds of people make use of this flowchart. The flowchart's been designed to walk you through the steps or the questions that you need to ask to determine whether you need to file iXBRL, that's up here, if any of these questions are answered yes, or whether you need to go with the financial accountability supplement down here, or whether you can voluntarily do the iXBRL files. Let's just make it a little bit bigger so we can see the questions. Okay, so those first questions is, does the MOI prescribe filing? Is it a public or state-owned company? Do you have fiduciary assets more than 5 million? Does the MOI require an audit? Or is the PI score greater than 350? If any of those answers are yes, then an audit is required and an iXBRL submission is required. Okay, in other cases, if the PI score is more than 100, the AFS are internally compiled, then also you have an audit requirement and again an iXBRL submission. If they're not internally compiled, then you can choose, is it a voluntary audit or review? And if the answer to that is yes, you can choose whether you're going to submit either an FAS or an iXBRL submission. The choice is yours. Generally, the FAS is easier to do. It's only a 2-page document that you fill in on CIPC's website and you submit it online there, whereas doing the iXBRL file, there is more work to be done. So this flowchart will help you to decide whether you need to do an iXBRL file, and that's a good starting point. Okay, if you do find that you need to do one, then the CIPC frequently asked questions is also a useful document. So I would suggest that you actually read through this and study it, because then you'll learn a lot more about what iXBRL is and how it needs to be done. What's really important is to look here on page 8, where it says which data elements need to be submitted via iXBRL. This is important, okay, because it's the entire set of the financial statements that gets submitted, plus block tags for all the accounting policies, directors' reports, etc. Okay, there's no need to submit any supporting documents. There are no PDFs to go with this, and we've had this question come up many times because one of the software providers, their system, you attach PDFs of the notes, and that's not acceptable to CIPC, and I believe that they're now starting to stop that practice, or at least their intention is to stop that practice. So these things need to be block tagged. It's the entire set of financial statements that gets into the iXBRL file. Now, as I said, we've made this as easy as possible for us. In fact, the process doesn't change from the way you've done this in the past. So you still produce the AFS in the usual way, and when the AFS have been approved and signed by the directors and we have a publication date, then we come back to AuditMate and we produce the iXBRL file. So how have we done this? Well, we've created a new set of templates, or we've updated the 2018 templates to include iXBRL tagging. So if you're doing a client from here on forward, then you should use a new template when you create the client. So let's do that. We go to new, we put in the name of the company, and in the usual way we select a template. So let's select the 2018 audit, because audit is obviously the one that's going to have the iXBRL in it. Okay, all the 2018 company templates do have the iXBRL in, but usually it's going to be the audit one. So we'll just select that. We create our new company. Let's complete all these details. Click on next and carry on with the import of the accounts and all the normal procedures to produce the financial statements. I'm not going to go through that in detail because you're familiar with that and that's not part of the iXBRL part, but you'll produce the financial statements in Excel in the normal way. And I've done a if you look here, you'll notice that the template details is a little I at the end now. Okay, so this is 2018.02 I, indicating the iXBRL is in this template. That's just to help us to know if we're doing support with you and that sort of thing. Okay, I have pre-prepared a set of financial statements here. So let's just go into Excel and have a look at them so you can see what the differences are with the new templates. Okay, you're not going to notice any difference on the face of things, but if we go to items that would be tagged for iXBRL, you'll notice we've put some new columns in here. These are basically splitting up or adding together certain figures which go into the iXBRL. So these are important, but under each of the items that gets tagged, we now have link codes. And when I go into a block that's a tag block, you'll notice up here under the Excel named range has a number. Okay, and each one slightly different. Okay, so this is ENR 0129 and this is ENR 0129P for the prior year. And all the way through there are these linking codes. These are the key to extracting information from these AFS into the iXBRL report writer. So you prepare your AFS in the normal way, all the notes, everything, just as you did before. Save them, get them signed by the client, and then you're going to look at doing the iXBRL file. So let's look and see how we do that now. I just want to stress again that this comes at the end of the process. So it's after the financials are all completed, signed, and everything is done. Then we come in here and we go to the iXBRL tab. Those of you who've used AccountsMate will be very familiar with these screens. We essentially have imported just about all the functionality from the full-powered iXBRL into AuditMate, and we've streamlined it so that the process is tailored specifically for AuditMate. So when you arrive at this screen, you can check these details are all pulled through automatically from the AuditMate file. You actually can't change them here. You don't need to change them here. They're just pulled through automatically. the file that is linked is the AFS file that is created in AuditMate. On the left hand side here we have the taxonomy items that we need to create from the AFS file, and the way that we do it is we're just going to click on this button that says extract from the Excel file. So let's do that right now. Okay, when it opens up the AFS file, click on Don't Update. It's important. Click on Don't Update because this file is already prepared. It's already complete. Nothing needs to be changed. So we click Don't Update. And then the system will start working through this file. It takes a couple of minutes. Just be patient. And it will extract all the information. When it's done, the spreadsheet will automatically close. And if we now run down our list, you'll see dates that have come in and numbers that have come in. Now if we click the little tick box that says hide unused, then we'll just get all the figures that have been imported. Alright, so that's imported now, all the figures, all the notes, all the accounting policies and everything. Let's drag this across and we'll go down and just have a look at some of the accounting policies that have come in. Okay, select the accounting policies from the drop-down list of accounting policies. There they are. Let's drag that a little bit wider, and you'll see these are the accounting policies exactly as are in the financial statements. If you want to look at the notes, these are the notes, all block tagged. Okay, this is called a block tag. Now let's go back up and look at all the items, because you'll notice that there are some blocks here that have crosses, some that have question marks, and some that have these footer symbols. Now they all mean different things, and they all need to be dealt with. So the way we deal with them is, if it's a black cross, it means this is an existence error, and the CIPC validation engine will reject this file unless these fields are completed. So all the ones with the black cross need to be completed. Now there are things like this: CIPC customer code of the person who will upload the iXBRL file. So we need to fill in that detail. So let's go over here and fill in the customer code and save it, and the black cross disappears. Okay, we need to work through all these items. Name of designated person responsible for company compliance. Okay, we need to actually tell CIPC who is responsible for compliance on this company. So let's fill something in. And when I click save, the black cross goes away because the data is filled in. Okay, the average number of employees during the year. So this is for the PR score calculation. So let's fill something in here. And etc, etc. So we need to complete all these details. I'm going to do this quickly, and then I'll show you how we create the iXBRL file. Okay, certain questions require true or false answers, and we have a true or false on the side here. So are these annual financial statements independently reviewed? In this case, that's false. Were they internally compiled or reviewed? No audit or review. Again, this answer is false. These financial statements were audited. That's true. Other items require dates, such as this, date of signature of the independent review. Okay, now that's only if it's applicable. Okay, so this one didn't have an independent review. You can just leave that blank. It's just a question mark. It will still be validated. If it's a black cross, it's got to have details. You can see here the date of the signature of the audit report. This was linked to the Excel AFS, and so this date came in automatically. But you could enter that manually as well. Certain other items also have drop downs, so we can select this for the type of company. And just pay careful attention to the wording over here, because for this one, for example, business address, country, it has to have this code ZAF for South Africa. Also some of these questions, so the description of the nature of the financial statements, I always just call it general purpose. And then the period covered by the financial statements, 12 months. The date of publication, we can choose from the little calendar. Description of the presentation currency, usually ZAR. As with the FAS, CIPC also requires some details of who is responsible for preparing the financial statements, etc., and even the professional designation. Again, it's from a drop-down. Is the auditor's report included? Yes. Director's report? Yes. And are the AFS signed by an authorized director? Yes, they are. Okay, in that section, looks like we've cleared all the black crosses. That question mark is not applicable. So let's carry on down the list and see if there's any other items that need to be dealt with. Okay, here we have one. This is a footnote if nil. Okay, so in this case, the total comprehensive income is nil. So in this case, the other comprehensive income is nil. And so it requires a footnote. That's just a taxonomy requirement. And we've got to tell them why is it nil. Well, I always just say that there's none. And that will take care of that. Okay, one more cross here. Date of approval of the annual financial statements by the directors. So we'd look on the director's report for that. And carry on down. Independent reviewers report. Well, if there was one, we would fill it in. There isn't in this case. And same with the name of the independent review. And this one has got a cross, but it's only a cross if the PI score is greater than 500. So if there's a social and ethics committee, CIPC expect you to block tag the note in the financial statements related to the social and ethics committee. However, I've done a little bit of research. And it isn't actually a requirement to have a report in the AFS. The Social and Ethics Committee has to report at the AGM, but their report doesn't have to be included in the AFS. So under those circumstances, I would just say that it's not presented in the AFS. Right, we're now ready to create the iXBRL file. Click on the Create tab and click Create iXBRL. And that has now created this file. And we can open the file to have a look at it just by clicking on the blue line. And this is what the iXBRL file looks like. Okay, different sections. So here's our statement of financial position. Now, it doesn't look exactly like the financial statements, but all the figures are there and they are all linked to the correct taxonomy items. So you can have a quick look through this and just confirm that the figures do tie up all the way through. Statement of changes in equity is all there. Then all your notes that are block tagged. These need to just be human readable. Okay, so the formatting is not perfect, but somebody can read those and understand them, which is the key criteria. Same with your accounting policies. Now, how easy was that? So now we're ready to validate the file with CIPC. Click on the validate button and send the file to CIPC for validation. This sends the file up to their server and it will come back with any error messages. Okay, warnings can always be ignored. If they come back with errors, then we need to do something about that. But we shouldn't have a problem like that unless we've left some data out. So those little black crosses that we had, as long as we cleared all those black crosses, we shouldn't have any errors that come up here. So this warning is about the public interest score. Unfortunately, CIPC calculate that incorrectly. So this will always come up with a warning. And then any items that had footnotes, if they're 0, those also come up with a warning even though you've dealt with it and put a footnote in. Right, the other errors, on the other errors, the taxonomy does some calculation checks. So it looks at each of the reports and calculates, for example, revenue less cost of sales equals gross profit, and it actually checks that calculation. So anything that comes up here will be generally calculation errors. Now also notice this comes up with statement 320, which is the statement of comprehensive income by nature of expense. Now we aren't submitting that statement. We're doing the 310 option because we don't have to do all of them. We only have to do the ones that are in the financial statements. So this is going to come up with also warnings or frowny faces, and we can just ignore those ones. So this file now is ready to go to CIPC for live validation, and the file that goes is this file here in this link. You find it in the folder, the client folder, and it's the XHTML file. And that's a file that would get uploaded to CIPC. And that's a complete process. So how easy was that? Just prepare your financial statements in the normal way. Come in here, extract the values, fill in all the blanks that need to be filled in, create the iXBRL file, validate, and you're done. The whole process could literally take 15 minutes, even less. Okay, so the obvious question is, what if I have an existing set of financial statements that I now need to do the annual return for? Do I need to now recreate them all on a new template? No, you don't. We can take your existing financials and link them to Excel and do the extraction in the same way. Let's go through that now. So let's open an existing client. Let's take this demo 2018. So here we have a set of financial statements that's already been prepared. Let's open them in Excel. And if we go to some cells in the balance sheet, you'll see that they are not linked to the Excel named ranges. So if we use iXBRL in AuditMate and we try to extract these fields, nothing's going to come through because nothing is linked up. So let's see how we can link things up there. Let's just shut these financials down again and let's go to iXBRL. All the company details come through. Click on the Excel tab and here's the AFS. Let's open them up again. Now it really does help if you're working in 2 monitors, but we'll just try and arrange the screens here so we can see them. Okay, so I've managed to arrange these windows on one screen so that we can work on the Excel and on the iXBRL Mate together. So what we want to do is we want to link each line item from the financial statements to the iXBRL mate, and we do it through the Excel named ranges. So let's start off by selecting the balance sheet. And we'll run up to the top, and the first item that we need to link is property, plant and equipment. So let's find property, plant and equipment on the left hand side here, and we have two link buttons here, link for this year and prior. So if we click on link, what it does is it takes this Excel named range and it puts it into the clipboard. We then go into Excel, select the cell we want, click up the top here and press Ctrl V, and that will put the Excel named range into that cell. Press enter, and what we've effectively done is we've named that cell to that Excel named range. Now we do the same thing for the prior. So we click on the prior, go over to this side, click prior, it puts that link into the clipboard, come back to Excel, click up there, Ctrl V and enter, and we've now named that range. Alright, so remember we're working from the AFS to the iXBRL. These totals also need to be included. So the total for non-current assets, we need to look at that, and we need to go down the list here and find the total for non-current assets. Click on the link, come over to Excel, click on the right cell, click up here, Ctrl V and enter to name it. Okay, now we can go to the next cell. This is a slightly quicker way of doing it. So we can go to the prior cell, we can go up there, we press Ctrl V and then a P and then enter. And that will link it then to that cell named range plus the P on the end. Now we need to do this all the way through the financial statements. So every item, every line item in here needs to be linked into the iXBRL. This process is going to take a little while, but I think you'll find it's quicker than working from a new template and recreating all the notes. So you just have to go through this process, and it might take you an hour, but once you've done it, then this spreadsheet is permanently linked to the iXBRL. And when you use it next year and you balance forward, all the linking's still in place, and you can do then the process much quicker the next year. Okay, there are a couple of items that we need to take very careful note of when we're doing this linking. Let's go to the income statement and on the side as well. And you'll notice here, for example, with cost of sales, this shows as a debit in the expected balance. And in our income statement, we show it as a minus. So this needs to come in here as a positive value. And the way that we do that is by linking it, but by putting a negative in front of the linking reference. So let's link this item by clicking link, go to the income statement, put in the Excel named range, and same for the prior one with the P. So what will happen when this extracts, it's going to grab this Excel named range as minus 97,000, and then it's going to put a minus there to make this then a positive 97,000. So all these debit items are expected to come in as positive numbers. So we have to negative them all here. But that's all taken care of for you in the template, just so that you know. When it comes to linking the notes, let's go there and have a look. Well, let's start with the accounting policies. So we have one block for accounting policies. Now we can go to the notes here, and when we do an Excel named range, we can that named range can be more than one cell. It can be many cells. So let's click here on the link, and what we'll do is we'll block the entire section of accounting policies. As far down as it goes. Right. So that's all been blocked. We click on the top left hand corner, Control V and enter. Now that whole range has been named ENR 0025, and that will all be sucked into here into one text block. Okay, then we'll do the same thing for the rest of the notes. Press escape. Let's go down and find the notes, and we will block the entire section of notes. So it's right up to column I and all the way down. Okay, and click there, Control V. Whoops, wrong range name. Press escape. Okay, I didn't select on this side the right item. Click on the link, come back here, back to there, Control V and enter. Okay, there's no prior to link, it's just for the current. And we do the same then for the director's report, and we select the director's report in here. Block the entire thing. Okay, we could even type in this this range name underscore ENR 0061. Press enter. Okay, we don't have to do the click on the link. We can do it even manually. That is now linked. Right, then if we go and we can extract all the figures from the AFS, but before we do that, we would need to save this. Okay, very important, because we've made changes to the file. So we've given them Excel named ranges. So let's exit this file, saving it, and then click on extract from the Excel file. That will then open that file. We click don't update, and it will run through and pull in all the information. Right, now as all the info has been sucked in, let's click on hide unused. Let's maximize this window, drag this across, and let's click on all. Now what we're going to do is go and have a look for all those little black crosses and see what we need to sort out. Okay, remember a lot of these are not linked into the financial statements for various reasons, because it's not data that's included in there. So then we have to work through this like I showed you earlier and fill in all these details. So we go in here, fill in the name, save, and the little black cross will disappear. From here on, the process is exactly as I showed earlier. Complete all this, create the iXBRL, do the validation, and you're away. So that's iXBRL Mate in AuditMate. So you can either start with a brand new template, or you can work with an existing set of financial statements and create all the links to Excel. If there are any questions, we'll take some questions now. One of the questions I would think would be, well, what is this going to cost? Because obviously there is a cost to it. There's been an extensive amount of development, time and effort gone into this. And so we do want to recover some of that. The way that it works is when you do the registration, there's a little iXBRL add-on checkbox. and that needs to be ticked on for when you do the license request. So it's part of the licensing that switches on or off the iXBRL. What we've decided on the pricing for now, and it's all subject to change, is it's going to be 2,000 Rand to get the add-on into an existing AuditMate or AccountsMate. We feel that that's pretty reasonable, especially seeing as the iXBRL Mate full product is 12,000 Rand, and you can do almost the same with this. Obviously, but this is streamlined for the AuditMate financial statements. So you've seen it now in operation. It's very quick and easy to prepare those financials. That pricing is subject to change, so it will in all likelihood go up. But if you take advantage of that now, maybe the next week or so, it will stay at that price, and you can get it cheaper. Yeah, in the future, we do anticipate that more and more companies will have to do iXBRL financials. In fact, the current changes for the amendments to the Companies Act, there's a draft proposal there which would make all companies have to do iXBRL. Now that's really significant, and honestly, I hope that that doesn't come off, at least on this round. I think companies need a lot more time to settle down into this, and CIPC, they should have had 40,000 submissions by now, and they've got about 3,000. So this isn't happening nearly as quickly as they expected it to be happening. There's a lot of non-compliant companies out there. But you don't need to be non-compliant, and you don't need to have an issue with preparing this iXBRL file for your clients. We have 3 different ways of doing it now. For the AuditMate clients, we've got iXBRL and AuditMate. For the bigger ones, or where the financials maybe came off out of PDF, out of Word, out of Caseware, out of whatever, you can use iXBRL Mate to do those conversions. And if you don't want to do it yourself, we'll do it for you. We offer a white glove solution to do that as well. So we've got in AuditMate, 2 grand plus VAT, iXBRL Mate, 12 grand plus VAT. If we do it for you, the price is 650 Rand plus 100 Rand per page of the financial statements. All right. Creating that iXBRL file by any other means is almost impossible. We've turned it into something that is really very, very simple. It's a few mouse clicks and some data entry, and you're done. So yeah, we're pleased to be able to do that, and we really would like to hear from our users, from you guys who've attended this webinar. What are you looking for in your practices? And what sort of software solutions are you looking for? Because we would like to deliver on those, and we believe that we can produce software to fulfill any function. So pop us a mail sometime, let us know what you're looking for, and we will be delivering. So thank you very much for attending. I've kept it within the hour, as I said I would, and I'll just hang around for a little bit if there are any more questions, but otherwise pop me an email, and thank you very much.